Good evening, it's Monday, the 6th of January, and here's what's making news around the world on World News Tonight. Prisoners' amnesty. Myanmar granted amnesty to over 6,000 prisoners, including 180 foreigners, to mark its 77th independence anniversary. Historic sentencing. President-elect Trump will be sentenced to January 10th on hush money charges, an unprecedented event for a US president. Global quest. Joy Ryan became the oldest person to visit every US national park. Now, she and her grandson Brad are halfway to their goal for visiting every continent.
From Colombo, this is World News Tonight with Akhil Qureshi.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on World News once again. Let's begin in Myanmar. Myanmar's military government announced the release of about 6,000 prisoners, including foreigners, in a mass amnesty marking the 77th anniversary of independence. It remains unclear whether Aung San Suu Kyi, who is serving a 27-year sentence, a political detainment opposing the coup, will be included in the release.
Myanmar's military government has released thousands of prisoners under an amnesty marking the nation's Independence Day. Myanmar has been in turmoil since early 2021, when the military overthrew an elected civilian government. Military forces went on to violently suppress pro-democracy protests, sparking a nationwide armed rebellion. The junta has said it will hold elections this year, though the plan has been widely condemned by opposition groups as a sham. Among those still imprisoned by the junta is the country's former leader and Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi. The 79-year-old is serving a 27-year sentence tied to criminal charges ranging from incitement and election fraud to corruption. She denies all the charges, according to her lawyers.
South Korean President Chief of Security stated that it could be cooperated with the first to arrest the impeached leader, escalating the political crisis. The president, facing an arrest warrant over a failed martial law attempt, became the first sitting president to face such charges, sparking protests.
Thousands braved the rain and snow to rally in South Korea's capital Seoul on Sunday as a warrant for impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol's arrest was set to expire at midnight on Monday. Some demanded Yoon's arrest following his botched attempt at imposing martial law in Asia's fourth largest economy last month, while other protesters opposed it. In remarks that could push the political crisis towards another high-stakes confrontation, the presidential security chief said on Sunday he could not cooperate with efforts to arrest the impeached leader. Park Chung-jun cited the legal debate surrounding the warrant, saying that Yoon is still president, even though Parliament had voted to impeach him. It's up to the Constitutional Court to make a final decision on whether to remove or reinstate him. Park's comments came after a Seoul court rejected a complaint from Yoon's lawyers that the arrest warrant was illegal and invalid, the Yonhap news agency reported. His lawyers have said the anti-graft force leading his criminal probe has no authority under South Korean law to investigate any case involving insurrection accusations. On Saturday, the investigators had asked acting President Choi Sang-mok, the finance minister, to order the Presidential Security Service to comply with the arrest warrant. That came a day after the security officers blocked them from arresting Yoon in a 6-hour standoff. In a statement on Sunday, the finance ministry said Choi urged authorities to make sure no one was hurt by efforts to enforce the law.
North Korea fired a ballistic missile towards the sea, marking its first launch in 2 months, with the missile flying more than 1,000 kilometers before falling into the sea. The launch coincided with a U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's visit to Seoul, where he reaffirmed the U.S.-South Korea alliance.
North Korea test-fired an intermediate-range ballistic missile into the East Sea today, its first since November. The launch coincided with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's visit to Seoul and follows political tensions in South Korea. The missile traveled 684 miles and reached an altitude of 62 miles, with authorities calling it a severe provocation. This test marks a return to missile activity after a period of relative calm, likely driven by North Korea's military development plans. Kim Jong-un has prioritized expanding missile technology and weapons, with 2025 marking the final year of North Korea's 5-year military deployment plan.
Australia's southeast is facing an intensified heat wave, heightening bushfire risks and prompting fire bans in parts of Victoria. Temperatures could reach up to 45 degrees Celsius, with fire danger categorised as extreme due to ongoing high-risk bushfire seasons, the recent significant fires.
Australia's southeast is experiencing an intense heat wave, which has intensified since yesterday, increasing the risk of bushfires and prompting fire bans in parts of Victoria. Temperatures in the region are expected to reach as high as 45 Celsius, with Melbourne forecast to hit 38 Celsius, while the town of Mildura could see temperatures surpass 42 Celsius. The extreme heat has led authorities to classify the fire danger as extreme in several districts, with warning also in place for Western Australia, New South Wales and Tasmania. Although the current bushfire season is high risk, it has been quieter compared to the catastrophic 2019-2020 Black Summer, which resulted in widespread destruction and loss of life. The Bureau of Meteorology has stated that the heat wave will continue into the night, with cooler weather expected from a wind change in southeast.
Let's take a short commercial break. More world news on the other side. On the road to the White House now, a judge has ordered Donald Trump to be sentenced in January 10th, his hush money case in New York, less than 2 weeks before his inauguration. Trump dismissed the judge's order as illegitimate political attack and called the case rigged.
A judge has ordered Donald Trump to be sentenced on January 10th for his criminal conviction over hush money paid to a porn star, though the US president-elect is unlikely to face jail time or other penalties. Justice Juan Merchan's ruling means Trump will be required to appear at a court hearing just 10 days before his January 20th inauguration. It's an unprecedented scenario in the country's history. Before Trump, no US president, former or sitting, had been charged with or convicted of a crime. Trump can choose to attend the sentencing virtually. The judge wrote that a sentence of unconditional discharge would be the most viable solution. That means no custody, monetary fine, or probation. A Trump spokesperson said in a statement there should be no sentencing in the case, as it, quote, should have never been brought. The case stems from a $130,000 payment Trump's then-lawyer made to adult film actor Stormy Daniels. The payment was for her silence before the 2016 election about a sexual encounter she said she had with Trump, who denies it. A Manhattan jury in May found Trump guilty of falsifying business records to cover up the payment. In announcing his sentencing plan, the judge denied Trump's motion to dismiss the case. Merchan said setting aside the jury's verdict would, quote, undermine the rule of law in immeasurable ways. The judge also criticized what he called Trump's unrelenting and unsubstantiated attacks against the integrity of the criminal proceeding. He said Trump's character and history relating to his public statements against the justice system were considered in deciding on his motion, saying, quote, in that vein, it does not weigh in his favor.
President Joe Biden awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom to 19 individuals. This included Hillary Clinton, Ralph Lauren and George Soros, recognized their contribution to politics, culture and society.
19 new recipients of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor. A class of athletes, actors, politicos, scientists and cultural icons. A lengthy standing ovation for Hillary Clinton. The former First Lady, Senator, and Secretary of State applauded as the first major party female nominee for president. Biden also praising chef and humanitarian Jose Andres, his World Central Kitchen soldiering into war zones and communities devastated by natural disasters to help people in dire need. And a powerful moment with Michael J. Fox. Fighting the ravages of Parkinson's disease, the star of TV and film taking to the stage as an advocate for Parkinson's research and development. An emotional former Senator Mitt Romney accepting the honor for his father, a former Michigan governor and auto industry executive. President Biden also celebrating the basketball career, business acumen, and community activism of Magic Johnson. Magic helping Biden easily drape his medal despite their 9-inch height difference. And a suave Denzel Washington, lauded as one of the greatest actors of our time, marking the moment with a long embrace for Biden, who's bestowing his last round of medals just days before the end of his presidency.
Elon Musk withdrew his support for Nigel Farage, stating that he reformed UK party needs a new leader and the Farage doesn't have what it makes. Well, Musk's comment comes shortly after Farage praised him as a friend who made the party look cool.
Billionaire Elon Musk said Nigel Farage should quit as leader of Britain's right-wing Reform UK party on Sunday. It marks an abrupt shift from Musk's previous support for Farage, who he seemingly backed and posed with in a photograph last month. Farage has previously said he was in talks with Musk about donations to Reform, which challenges the dominant Labour and Conservative parties. But on Sunday, Musk said the Reform Party needs a new leader. Farage doesn't have what it takes. Musk made that statement on X only a few hours after Farage described him as a friend who made Reform look cool. Reform won 4.1 million votes and 5 seats in Parliament in last July's national election. But Farage has distanced himself from Musk, who voiced support for Stephen Yaxley Lennon, who goes by the pseudonym Tommy Robinson. He's a British anti-immigration and anti-Muslim activist serving prison time for contempt of court after he was successfully sued for libel by a Syrian refugee. Farage responded to Musk on X, saying, "My view remains that Tommy Robinson is not right for reform and I never sell out my principles." Last month, Musk endorsed the right-wing Alternative for Germany party ahead of Germany's national elections in February. It takes an anti-immigration, anti-Islamic stance, and German security services have labelled them as extremists. Musk has previously sought to influence British politics and has criticised Prime Minister Keir Starmer repeatedly since anti-immigration riots last summer.
A sushi restaurant owner in Tokyo paid 207 million yen for a bluefin tuna weighing 276 kilograms at the annual Tokyo Zoo Fish Market auction, the second highest price ever. The tuna will be served at Derana's group Michelin-starred restaurant across Japan.
Over in Tokyo, in the early hours of Sunday at Toyosu Market's first tuna auction of the year, a 276-kilogram bluefin tuna fetched 207 million yen, approximately $1.3 million. This winning bid marks the second highest price recorded since auction records began in 1999, and is nearly double last year's top bid of 114.2 million yen. The all-time highest price was set in 2019 at 333.6 million yen, or about $2.1 million. A representative of the company with the winning bid said that tuna is a symbol of good fortune, and he participated in the auction with the hope of bringing smiles to everyone through food.
Russia-appointed officials in occupied Crimea declared a regional emergency after fuel oil from 2 tankers spilled nearly 3 weeks ago washed ashore. While oil was found in 4 beaches, local authorities and volunteers worked to eliminate it, with no mass coastline pollution reported.
Russia declared a regional state of emergency in Crimea on Saturday as workers cleared tons of contaminated sand on either side of the Kerch Strait following an oil spill in the Black Sea last month. Russia seized Crimea from Ukraine in 2014 and its annexation has not been recognized by most other countries. Russia's Emergencies Ministry published video footage of dozens of workers in protective suits loading bags of dirt onto diggers and others removing sand with shovels. The Russia-installed governor of Sevastopol said new traces of minor pollution required urgent elimination and declared a state of emergency in the city, giving authorities more power to take swift decisions such as ordering citizens to evacuate their homes. Rescue workers have now cleared nearly 95,000 tons of contaminated sand and soil, the Emergencies Ministry said. The oil leaked from 2 aging tankers that were hit by a storm on December 15th. One sank and the other ran aground. Russia's transport ministry said this week experts had established that about 2,600 tons of oil products had spilled into the sea, a smaller spill than initially feared.
Let's take a short commercial break. More world news on the other side. Welcome back. A soccer-loving nun from Brazil is believed to be the world's oldest living person at nearly 117, following the death of the Japanese woman who previously held the title. The longevities of confirming her status, sharing a video of her cracking jokes and resisting players, of course. This is what it is. Take a look.
The world's oldest living person has been identified as a Brazilian Catholic nun. On Sunday local time, the longevity research organization Gerontology Research Group announced that Sister Ina Canabaro had reached 116 years and 211 days, making her the oldest living person in the world. This comes after the passing of the previous record holder, Japan's Tomiko Itooka, who died in late December last year at the age of 116. Born on June 8, 1908, Sister Canabaro resides in the Teresa Sisters Convent in Porto Alegre. She attributes her health and longevity to her faith and a positive mindset. She is a passionate fan of local soccer team AC Internacional, who celebrated her birthday by gifting her a personalized team jersey.
And finally tonight, Joy Ryan first gained attention online when she became the oldest person to see every U.S. national park with her grandson Brad Ryan. But after Joy received her first passport at age 91, the pair are now on a mission to visit every continent and have already visited Africa and Antarctica.
If you look closely at the wilds of a safari,
15-foot croc right there.
or at the foot of an awe-inspiring mountain,
I bet the water is nice and cold.
You'll find something remarkable. Joy.
This is great.
Grandma Joy, that is.
Well, hi there.
Joy Ryan is on a quest to visit all 7 continents, and she's doing it at 94 years old. But she is traveling the world and doing it with the best travel buddy possible. Joy saw her first mountain and so much more.
See you on the other side. All right, who's going next?
As that first visit turned into their first quest, seeing all 63 U.S. national parks together. That first trip complete. Now, another once-in-a-lifetime adventure. From the bottom of the world in Antarctica to immersing themselves in the cultures of Africa. The pair crisscrossing the globe.
That's so pretty.
Reaching 4 of the 7 continents so far. A trip that's about so much more than the destination.
And with that, that's a wrap on today's bulletin. We'll be back with the latest updates from around the world tomorrow. But until then, do stay tuned as we've got Sanvi Mudannaika joining you next on Nightly Business Report. And soon after, we've got visuals from the Golden Globe Awards of 2025. Well, with that, thank you so much for watching. Good night.
The 2025 Golden Globe Awards brought many first-time winners to the stage. Demi Moore won the first major acting award of her career for The Substance.
I had a woman say to me, just know you will never be enough, but you can know the value of your worth if you just put down the measuring stick.
Other notable first-time winners included Fernanda Torres for the Brazilian movie I'm Still Here, Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, and Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez.
Thank you so much. Oh my God!
Amelia Perez made a big showing after receiving 10 nominations, ultimately winning Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy.
The light always wins over darkness.
The Brutalist took home the Counterpart Award for Best Drama Film. Shut out of acting wins, Wicked was honored with the Cinematic and Box Office Achievement Award.
That maybe that we have that courage and that strength to not give up, but to rise up and take the road off the yellow brick road and maybe discover we can fly.
In the TV categories, Shogun continued to be an award show darling, winning everything it was nominated for, including Best Drama Series.
This is very big present for me.
Jessica Gunning, another first-time winner, won Best Supporting Actress for Baby Reindeer. The show, based on a true story, also won Best Limited Series.
Right now, when the world's in the state that it's in and people are really struggling, we need stories that speak to the complicated and difficult nature of our times.
Familiar faces took home the comedy trophies. An absent Jeremy Allen White won for The Bear, as well as Gene Smart for Hacks, which also won Best Comedy Series.
I never thought I'd be so happy to be called a hack.
The show was hosted by comedian Nikki Glazer.
If you do lose tonight, please just keep in mind that the point of making art is not to win an award. The point of making art is to start a tequila brand so popular that you never have to make art again.